the annals of Chinese mythology, the four perils, or the four evils, stand as symbols of chaos and moral disruption, their presence a cautionary reminder across generations. These malevolent entities embody the darker aspects of human nature: greed, chaos, stubbornness, and cruelty, each playing a significant role in the challenges to the natural and moral order. Known for their formidable powers and sinister attributes, these legendary creatures threaten equilibrium in the world, their stories reflecting the vices they personify and exploit. Taotie, Hundun, Taowu, and Qiongqi are feared not just for their individual malevolence, but for their collective influence on undermining the balance of nature and the ethical fabric of society. They bridge the chasm between divine warnings and earthly consequences, responding to the follies of both gods and mortals. Join us as we explore the legacy of the Four Perils, malevolent forces whose presence shapes the challenges to the foundations of balance and virtue. This is the story of Taotie, Hundun, Taowu, and Qiongqi, the disruptors of nature, the symbols of discord, and the feared corruptors of the worlds. Similar to the four legendary beasts, the tale of the four evil creatures stretches back to the inception of Chinese civilization, deeply intertwined with the spiritual and cultural fabric of its people. These beings didn't just appear, they were born out of the collective psyche of a society fraught by the relentless forces of nature, the ravages of war, and the moral dilemmas that have constantly plagued humanity. As embodiments of cautionary tales, these creatures serve as stark warnings against the lure of our primal base instincts. In times long past, the people of ancient China sought to understand and explain the unknown. The floods that swept their lands away, the fires that consumed their homes, the wars that decimated their kin. In their quest for answers, they envisioned the four evils, each a manifestation of natural and human-induced disasters. These mythical creatures were not mere figments of imagination, but were integral to the moral and ethical discourse of the times. Each creature, a unique representation of a specific force in the universe, was believed to influence the material world, their stories passed down through generations not just as tales of fear and caution, but as essential moral lessons. Unlike the four legendary beasts, each of the four evil had a different origin story, which we'll get into later on. Regardless of this, their combined power and the forces they represented made them central figures in the constant battle between chaos and order, destruction and redemption. Taotie. While the origin of Taotie is not widely agreed upon, one of the most common stories describe him as the fifth son of the Dragon King. He was one of 9 sons that the Dragon King fathered, and each of them had their own specific quirks, ranging from the love for music to fighting and aggression, and even following the path of enlightenment. As for Taotie, he was known for his greed and love of food. His name roughly translates to ravenous hunger, and is typically a representation for gluttony or famine. It is one of the most distinctive and mysterious motifs found in ancient Chinese art, particularly known for its appearance on Shang and Zhou dynasty bronze vessels. Taotie is primarily depicted as a large predatory creature with a wide mouth filled with sharp, jagged teeth, often shown as if in a snarl. This feature emphasizes the creature's ferocity and its associations with consumption and appetite. One of the most striking features of Taotie is its prominent, bulging eyes, which are often circular and exaggerated, giving it a wild and intense gaze. Many depictions of Taotie include horns or antlers, adding to its fearsome and powerful appearance. In other depictions, Taotie incorporated elements from various animals such as cow ears, dragon-like whiskers, or even the beak of a bird, reflecting a composite beast of formidable power. As a creature of formidable appetite, Taotie's primary power lies in its insatiable hunger, which is both literal and metaphorical. It can consume endlessly, a trait that symbolizes the human tendencies toward greed and the dangers of overindulgence. This endless consumption is not without purpose. It serves as a stark reminder to humans of the perils of succumbing to one's baser instincts, highlighting the moral responsibilities that come with power and plenty. Taotie's presence on ritual jars and vessels were not merely decorative, but served as a cautionary emblem to those partaking in the feasts or ceremonies, urging moderation and respect for boundaries. Personality-wise, Taotie is often portrayed as aggressive and dominating, with a fierce demeanor that commands attention and fear. This assertiveness is intertwined with its cautionary role as a force not to be trifled with. Taotie exists in solitude, a creature without need or desire for companionship or family. It is the embodiment of selfishness and greed, focusing solely on its next meal, endlessly consuming without satisfaction. This isolation highlights its role as a symbol of unbridled desire and gluttony, emphasizing the loneliness and emptiness that often accompany greed. It is depicted as a moral compass that has lost its way, reminding humans of the destructive paths their desires can lead them down if left unchecked. Sometimes the image of Taotie was employed in rituals designed to ward off evil and misfortune, particularly in times of scarcity and famine. These artifacts serve both as warnings against greed and as tools to educate future generations on the importance of moderation and self-control. One of the most chilling tales of Taotie tells of a time when the beast consumed an entire village in its relentless hunger. Driven by an insatiable appetite, Taotie ate so voraciously and swiftly that it eventually began to consume itself, devouring its own body in a grotesque spectacle of self-destruction. This story serves as a grim reminder of the self-defeating nature of unchecked greed, how it ultimately leads to one's own ruin. Hundun. Hundun is described in ancient Taoist texts as the ultimate representation of chaos and primordial disorder. It is believed that Hundun originated with the beginning of the universe, as one of the first things to come into existence, along with the cosmic egg, which eventually gave rise to the forces of yin and yang. For more information about the origin of the universe, check out my video in the top right-hand corner. Hundun is often depicted as a formless swirling mass, a creature without eyes, ears, or a mouth. It lacked form and definition, embodying the state of uncontrolled chaos that existed before the world was organized into its structured form. This lack of form is central to its identity as the epitome of disorder. Due to its association with primordial chaos, Hundun can also be depicted as a swirling mist or cloud, representing its all-encompassing, pervasive, and shape-shifting qualities. Its physical ambiguity serves a significant philosophical purpose. It represents the undifferentiated unity of the universe before the separation of elements and the establishment of order. Thus, its appearance, or lack thereof, reflects its role as the ultimate origin, where distinctions and individual characteristics do not exist. However, Hundun was sometimes described in a more tangible form. In this state, Hundun is described as a paradoxical creature with no eyes, no ears, a round body with no internal organs, but a functional digestive system and multiple legs and wings. The round body of Hundun symbolizes completeness and unity, echoing the idea that Hundun symbolizes the original chaos that contained all possibilities. The circular shape, having no beginning or end, represents the eternal nature of the primordial universe. The presence of wings on Hundun indicates its ability to traverse or embody the skies, which in many cultures are associated with the divine or the original creation. The 6 legs symbolize stability in all directions, anchoring Hundun to the earth while also representing movement and the potential to initiate action in the physical realm. Hundun is endowed with the extraordinary ability to embody the forces of chaos that exists throughout the universe. This power is not inherently destructive, but is rather a fundamental state of potential and possibility. Hundun was able to transcend conventional physical limitations, enabling it to exist in multiple states or potentially everywhere at once. This omnipresent potential makes Hundun a unique entity, capable of influencing the very fabric of reality, hinting at its ability to initiate creation or transformation by mere existence. In the mythological framework, Hundun's primary responsibility lies in maintaining the balance between chaos and order. It serves as a reminder of the force from which all creation sprang forth, could just as easily condense back to its primordial state. Hundun does not exhibit personality in the human sense, but rather embodies a pure, unconditioned existence. It lacks desires, fears, or ambitions, representing a state of perfect neutrality and balance. This absence of a defined personality is in itself a profound statement about its nature. Hundun does not act but exists as a state of being that others may interact with, interpret, or seek to understand. True to its chaotic nature, Hundun has no defined relationships or lineage. It exists as a singular anomaly, a reflection of the chaos that underpins the creation of the universe. One of the most famous tales of Hundun is the tale of Shu and Hu. In a famous narrative, Shu and Hu, the gods of quickness and suddenness, befriended Hundun. They felt that their new friend deserved to have the same sensory organs as themselves, and planned to gift Hundun with eyes, a nose, ears, and a mouth. Using their powers, they attempted to bestow these gifts to Hundun. However, once Hundun could see, smell, hear, and taste, it was overwhelmed by the sudden sensory overload. Unable to sustain its form with this new perception, the shock resulted in Hundun's death. This story illustrates the peril of radical transformation, the importance of embracing one's fundamental nature, and the futility in trying to control the forces of chaos. Taowu. The origins of Taowu mythologically are not well documented. There is no widely agreed upon origin myth for this creature. However, the idea behind Taowu stems from the concept of ignorance and the importance of adapting and learning. By embodying the concept of ignorance and the refusal to learn from one's mistakes, Taowu serves as a warning against the danger of being unyielding and stubborn in the face of necessary change. Taowu is often depicted as a fearsome creature with a unique and intimidating appearance, combining features from various animals, typically part human and part beast. This hybrid form symbolizes its complex nature and the diverse traits it embodies, particularly stubbornness and ignorance. This includes a humanoid torso with the limbs or features of a beast, which visually represents its connection to both the natural world and human follies. The face of Taowu is usually depicted as a fierce and menacing, sometimes with exaggerated facial features like large eyes, a wide mouth, and prominent teeth or tusks, emphasizing its daunting and fearsome nature. The creature's body is usually covered in scales or a rough hide, reminiscent of a dragon or other mythical beasts, adding to its formidable and untamed appearance. Taowu is shown with strong muscular limbs and sometimes with claws, which underscores its strength and agility, traits that make it a daunting adversary in myths. As the myths about Taowu grew, other mythical features such as horns, wings, or multiple heads were given to Taowu, each adding layers to its symbolic role as a creature of power and wild nature. According to the myths, Taowu possesses the mythical power to see into the past, which paradoxically underscores its primary flaw, since it refuses to learn from history and past actions, despite its awareness of it. This unique ability makes Taowu a creature that embodies the contradictions of knowledge without wisdom. Its physical prowess enables it to endure and resist change, mirroring its deep-rooted aversion to adaptation and growth. In the cosmic scheme of Chinese myths, Taowu's responsibility is to serve as a stark warning against the peril of ignorance and the importance of intellectual and moral flexibility. It challenges heroes and moral leaders in tales to overcome not just a physical adversary, but to confront and transform the rigid, unyielding attitudes that Taowu metaphorically represents. This is a crucial part of the moral narratives, where overcoming Taowu equates to overcoming one's own worst tendencies of denial and stubborn resistance to change. The personality of Taowu is intrinsically linked to its role as a bearer of cautionary tales. It is characterized by a profound stubbornness, a refusal to acknowledge faults or adapt, which is a direct reflection of its mythological purpose. Taowu's demeanor is aggressive and unyielding, often described as relentless and fearsome, making it an implacable foe in myths. This relentless nature not only defines its interactions, but also enhances its function as a symbol of the dangers posed by a closed mind and a hard heart. Like its solitary nature suggests, Taowu exists without kin or companions, embodying its resistance to change and interaction. This isolation underscores the narrative of ignorance, as it avoids the influence or wisdom that might come from others. Its existence represents the pitfalls of remaining alone in one's beliefs, closed off from the evolving world. One of the most notable tales of Taowu centers around its encounter with a great hero renowned for wisdom. The hero, recognizing Taowu's dangerous influence, attempts to impart the virtues of wisdom and the critical importance of embracing change. Despite these efforts, Taowu, entrenched in its ways, refuses to heed any advice. This stubbornness leads to its downfall, as it underestimates those it deems inferior. This story serves as a powerful caution against the risks of inflexibility and the refusal to adapt to new truths. Qiongqi. Just like with Taowu, the origins of Qiongqi are not well documented. There is no widely agreed upon origin myth for this creature. However, the idea behind Qiongqi stems from the concept of malevolence and the importance of ethics and unity. By embodying the darker aspects of existence such as violence, discord, and the delight in the suffering of others, Qiongqi serves as a warning against the danger of succumbing to one's darker impulses. As the last of the four perils, Qiongqi is depicted as a terrifying creature, with a unique blend of features from different animals, symbolizing its malevolent nature. This mythical beast combines elements that enhance its reputation as a symbol of cruelty and malevolence. Qiongqi is often described as having the body of a tiger or an ox, showcasing its strength and ferocity. This base form is usually muscular and robust, indicative of a predator well suited to its role as a bringer of chaos and discord. One of the most distinctive features of Qiongqi is its wings, typically depicted as those of a bird, which allow it to soar above the land. In some descriptions, Qiongqi is also said to also have spikes running down its back. The ability to fly not only add to its fearsome appearance, but also symbolize its ability to spread malevolence swiftly and unpredictably across great distances. Qiongqi's mouth is usually filled with sharp fangs, emphasizing its role as a predator in the mythological food chain. The fangs are not just tools of physical predation, but are also symbolic of its capacity to devour social harmony and instigate conflict. The eyes of Qiongqi are often portrayed as glaring or fierce, reflecting its malevolent disposition and its role as a creature that revels in the suffering and turmoil of humans. Overall, Qiongqi's demeanor and posture are designed to invoke fear and dread. Its presence in illustrations and sculptures is often commanding and ominous, effectively capturing its essence as a harbinger of war and conflict. In addition, Qiongqi possesses the disturbing power to incite strife and manipulate individuals into committing acts of cruelty and betrayal. This ability is not just a physical force, but a deeply psychological one, reflecting Qiongqi's nature as a corrupter of morals and instigator of conflict. With its wings, it spreads discord far and wide, a symbolic representation of the pervasive and invasive nature of its influence. Qiongqi's primary responsibility is to serve as a cautionary figure, representing the dire consequences of succumbing to base instincts and immoral behavior. Through its actions, Qiongqi challenges heroes and communities alike, testing their integrity and moral fortitude. Its presence in stories is a stark reminder of the chaos and suffering that can ensue if evil is allowed to proliferate unchecked. Qiongqi's personality is characterized by a deep-rooted malevolence and a cunning intellect that make it a formidable antagonist in mythological tales. It is not merely a mindless beast, but a cunning and strategic creature, capable of complex thought and planning. According to some legends, Qiongqi often appears flying overhead during battles and will swoop down to devour the more righteous person. It will even go as far as to bite the noses off of anyone loyal to them. This intelligence makes Qiongqi all the more dangerous, as it deliberately seeks to undermine social order and moral laws. Qiongqi stands apart from familial connections. Without ties to bind it, Qiongqi is free to roam, sowing seeds of strife and conflict wherever it goes. This lack of relationships emphasizes its antagonistic nature and its focus on spreading suffering rather than fostering any form of bond. Its power to influence and corrupt parallels its role as a bringer of chaos, while its cunning and strategic nature highlight the constant vigilance required to combat such a threat. In this way, Qiongqi is not just a symbol of evil, but a perpetual test of a society's moral strength and resilience. In one gripping narrative, Qiongqi manipulates a king into starting a devastating war purely out of a desire to see the world burn. However, the king's wise advisor, seeing through the deception, intervenes just in time. The advisor's actions not only thwart Qiongqi's plans, but also restore peace and reinforce the importance of vigilance and moral integrity. This story highlights the need for ethical leadership and the dangers of succumbing to manipulative influences. In Chinese mythology, the four benevolent beasts, the azure dragon, the white tiger, the vermilion bird, and the black tortoise, each represent key natural elements and cardinal directions, aligning with the Wuxing theory that explains the cosmic cycles in human health. Each beast is linked to a specific season and provides protective energies that ensure the natural world's smooth functioning, symbolizing societal order and the flourishing of life. The azure dragon of the east heralds spring and brings rainfall. The white tiger of the west announces autumn and signifies strength. The vermilion bird of the south embodies summer and transformation, and the black tortoise of the north signifies winter and wisdom. For more details, check out my video in the top right-hand corner. Contrasting these protective figures, the four perils, Taotie, Hundun, Taowu, and Qiongqi, embody darker human traits: greed, chaos, stubbornness, and cruelty. These creatures disrupt moral and social harmony, appearing in myths as formidable adversaries that challenge heroes to overcome not just physical, but moral tests. This narrative role underscores the potential for human vices to cause societal instability and personal ruin. Culturally, the four benevolent beasts are revered and often depicted in art and architecture, serving as symbols that attract auspicious energy and protect against evil spirits. Their images are prominent in temples, palaces, and homes, celebrated during festivals and integrated into feng shui practices. In contrast, the four perils serve as cautionary symbols in cultural narratives. They are not celebrated, but referenced in stories and parables that instruct on the dangers of moral failings. These tales highlight the necessity for ethical vigilance and the importance of combating the darker aspects of human nature. Together, the four benevolent beasts and the four perils encapsulate a critical aspect of Chinese philosophy: the balance between constructive and destructive forces. This duality is a reminder of the continuous need for balance and vigilance in maintaining ethical integrity, reflecting deep cultural insights into human behavior, societal organization, and the interactions between humans and the natural world. This rich mythological framework not only enhances China's cultural heritage, but also provides ongoing education on the importance of moral and societal balance. Thank you all for watching all the way to the end. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I enjoyed making it. What did you think? Did I miss any details? Let me know in the comments below. If this is your first time watching one of my videos, then welcome to the channel. I hope I earned a like and subscription in your eyes. If not, that's okay. I'll keep making videos until I do earn it. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for your continued support. I truly appreciate all the views, likes, subscriptions, and kind words and messages. Without you, this channel wouldn't be here today. That's it for now. I hope to see you all in the next one.